Keke for goal.
Okay. Yes, sir. As we proceed to give you what you need, the prodigal Don has returned. I'm your host, Keke The D.O.N. And we're on episode 5 of the Keke The D.O.N. podcast, or Twinkie The D.O.N, as it's in the bottom. And we are here. Another solo episode, but War Wolf is going to be helping me out. So in today's topic, we're going to be talking about, give me 1 second.
Boy,
I'm good. We are going to be talking about Mr. Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man. And it's a recent issue. Just came out, I want to say, earlier in the month. And yeah, I'm going to basically just give you my thoughts and opinions on it. Should you buy it? Should you say F it and just skip over it? And what's more to come? Okay, so but before that, I have to give y'all thoughts on the original Ultimate universe, because that's what this is technically. It's not based off it, but that's kind of what it is. So in about I'd say about, I'm gonna say about 97, 98, early 99, like Marvel like comics, like they wasn't really doing too good financially. Boys is about to go bankrupt. Not gonna hold you. And so they had to sell a lot of their characters and stuff like that. So that's how we got, that's how we got X-Men with Fox and Fantastic Four with Fox and Sportsman with Sony. So in like early 2001, because as we know with comics, if you're not like consistently reading, or at least trying to keep up with it, or really if you're a new reader, especially back then, the continuity of it all could kind of get a little confusing, a little jumbled, because you really don't know like what's canon and what you need to read and what you don't need to read and what matters and what doesn't matter. But so Marvel essentially came up with a new idea to not. So DC does this a lot, where they'll reboot. They'll reboot like the universe. So that's why you have like things like the Mid 52 or or Rebirth. And Marvel kind of took a similar approach to that, but they didn't reboot the like 616. That's the main Marvel comics timeline. That just they just made a brand new universe, and they started with their flagship character, Spider-Man, and it turned out to be a huge hit among readers, especially new ones, because it was like for the time, it was a gateway into it was the modern day gateway to to learning about Spider-Man and his world and his cast of characters. Although it wasn't like although it is an adaptation of the original source material, it is still, I would argue it's still probably a good jumping off point now, but I would not I wouldn't consider getting too deep into it now, because that universe kind of doesn't exist anymore. But there's some, and a lot of the themes and stuff like that from the Ultimate Universe have kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They have essentially been outdated. And they did a lot of weird shit in there. Like you had the Hulk eating people, like literally eating people. You had an incestual relationship between Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So do with that information as you will. A lot of the characters in there were just kind of a lot of characters in there were kind of mean spirited. Even Spider-Man kind of had his fair share of stuff going on. So basically, but the couple of good things that did come out of it before Ultimate got destroyed was this villain called the Maker, which is basically the ultimate Reed Richards, like of that universe. He lost his shit basically, and uh and obviously Miles Morales. But so yes, so that's kind of the origin of it and why it failed. And for the longest time, they had kind of been hinting at it recently that they were going to bring that universe back. And this isn't necessarily that same universe. I do think they're going to. I do think in time, if they haven't already, they're going to like bring that original OG Ultimate Universe back. But for the time being, this is what the universe is consisting of. And just like in 2002, they started with Spider-Man again. And John Hickman is a very talented writer. I think I want to say he's written for Daredevil, but yeah, and I think that's one of the things I read from. But this comic was really big. I typically read them like I know me. I typically read comics online, or I might go to YouTube and look them up on Comics Explained and stuff like that. But for this particular issue, um, when I found out about it, I decided I was going to actually go to the comic book store and pick it up, and I did. So just to give some context, I want to say a couple of months, maybe even really early last year, we had got confirmation that they were doing this thing, and I remember everyone was originally very hyped because the promo. I don't know if you saw the promo art Wolf on Twitter, but it was it was basically like an older Peter Parker. He had like a beard and he was in a Spider-Man suit, and he had Mary Jane and he had their two kids by them. Or you always had like an older you had an older looking Peter and an older looking Mary Jane. So at first, originally people thought that that was the same Ultimate Spider-Man from what I just talked about back in 2001. And then as time went on, we found out that this was like, no, this was an alternate. This is not. Listen, they're nowhere like they're not connected whatsoever. And yeah, so what it is, is it's a brand new universe. So what ends up happening, well, what we find out is later is so this Peter Parker Wolf, he actually most in almost every other adaptation of the character, he always gets his powers between the ages of like 15 and 17. So a teenager. In this one, he's in like his mid 30s to early 40s when he gets his powers. Yeah. So he has yes, in the book. So the book, he's married to Mary Jane. They have two kids. Aunt May's dead. Uncle Ben is actually alive. And they both still work at the Daily Bugle actually. Like no, Uncle Ben and Peter still work at the Daily Bugle. Um, I'm saying still for Peter because obviously Uncle Ben's never worked at the Daily Bugle on account of in most adaptations. Well, not most, in all other adaptations, he's dead. Um, um,
I think he'll die in this.
him and J. Jonah Jameson, they have a very. I do like their dynamic. It's very, it's um. So you know, the character Robbie in the Spider-Man mythos, like Robbie Robinson, he's that black guy that's kind of always like, oh, I just want to get off of Spider-Man's back. Spider-Man's cool, all this and all that.
Yep.
He's kind of he kind of reminds me of Robbie just a little bit, just a tad bit. He gives off some Robbie vibes, but it's like that Uncle Ben thing. It's like that Uncle Ben stuff with him, and I just really liked it. And then Norman Osborn is also dead, so there's absolutely no 100% way, as far as right now, because you know how comics are, that he will be coming back anytime soon, and as the Green Goblin, no less. But speaking of the Green Goblin, Harry in this timeline is, well, universe is the Green Goblin, and some of it is actually made from the armor. I don't know if you've seen like the armor and stuff. It's all green stuff. It's all green, kind of nice. Looks nice. It is made from Stark Industries. So you know, if this was MCU, niggas would have had a field with that. Um, but and then you have Adrian Toomes, which is the Vulture. He has an eye patch. It's kind of cool. Like he like yeah, he's kind of cool. And then you have Wilson Fisk. So they have actually, so Wilson Fisk has actually bought Daily Bugle. So Jonah and Ben, they quit, and I think they're going to try to put a stop to that. And I think that's ultimately it's going to be how Mr. Ben Parker gets his pack smoked on, because that's just, as a Spider Verse reference. That's just the canon event at this point. Or Uncle Ben just dying, I guess. So yeah. So
No
it's very
matter what.
yeah, it's very interesting to see Peter, because for context, the last, I'd even say the last decade, I would honestly say, well, not, yeah, well, yeah, I'd say, okay, I'll say since 2006, and that's a long ass time from now. Well, not from now, but like that's, you know, it's going to be like 20 years essentially. So for 20 years, um, Peter Parker's character, at least in the comics, has been kind of stagnant. Um, Meaning like he's been in the same place, learning the exact same lessons, doing the exact same stuff for damn near 20 years. And you had people like Nick Spencer, like he started writing, or he took over the book in like 2018, I think. Yeah, but he's not writing it anymore. But you had his comic one trying to like undo like things like Sins Past and One More Day. Are you familiar with those stories?
No, I am not.
Okay, so Sins Past is basically when they decided to write that Norman Osborn had intercourse with Gwen Stacy. So there's that. That's the storyline with that. I'm sure you've seen memes of it online. And One More Day is basically that's infamous storyline where Peter and Mary Jane make a deal with Mephisto, and it erases and it erases their marriage because Aunt May is on the verge of death for like the 50 millionth time. So yes, and just to give context, we actually have kind of blocked Sins Past out of our mind until Nick Spencer brought that kind of back up. We literally like we acknowledge that it exists, we acknowledge that it's canon, but we chose for the longest time not to acknowledge it because it didn't add anything. Well, okay, so it didn't add anything to Gwen Stacy's character or Norman's character whatsoever. I mean, Gwen is like pre. This is pre Amazing Spider-Man, because this is when niggas started hopping on the Gwen Stacy train. Like she didn't really have any character. Like she's just there. Like she's literally just Peter's girlfriend. Maybe she's a little bit smart, like a tad bit smart, but she's just a naggy little girlfriend, and that's pretty much it. Um, but yeah, so then for One More Day, um, a, a lot of people were kind of pissed because it's like, well, not only did y'all erase Mary Jane and Peter's married, it's like 20 years, dang near 20 years of continuity and just flushed it down the toilet. So yeah, so the genius with this with so I think Webb Zales, I think he is the current writer of the new run that's going on currently, and that run has just been like a shit show. So you have, so I'm sure. Do you know about Paul? Like, have
No.
you seen? Okay, so Paul is, I guess, a new character in that run. and basically he's with Mary Jane now, and Mary Jane and him have kids, and
Hi, I'm
what
Paul.
yes. So what happens is Peter and Mary Jane, I think they go to this like alternate. They get trapped in some dimension or some shit, and then Peter gets out, but Mary Jane is still there. So it's one of those things where like time moves differently there. So like when he gets back, it's like 20 years or something like that by the time he gets back. And at that point, Mary Jane doesn't want anything to do with Peter, and she basically kind of moved on, had kids with Paul, and yeah, and Paul is like Spider Man. It's crazy because he's kind of like his biggest op at this point. Like niggas generally do not like Paul. People didn't like the run to begin with because in the literally the first issue, Peter is working with Norman Osborn. Like we're like no like the best way to describe this is if
Mhm.
Superman started working for Lex Luthor. That's the best way I could describe this. Um, and
Could only happen in an alternate universe
he's getting his
type
ass.
moment.
He's getting well. This is canon. This happens in the main 616 timeline, and he's getting his ass thoroughly kicked by it's a villain that Peter has fought numerous amounts of times at this point, and it's Vulture. You would think by now in his career he would like he's like I don't like you've probably seen this panel where Peter's on the phone, dang near begging Norman to help him, and then
Yeah.
he's getting his and then he gets his ass just a lot in this run, and not in a like oh yeah it's Spider-Man when he gets knocked down he always gets back up. No, like he's getting like it's one of those it's a young child so like this nigga this is embarrassing. Like how dare I continue to torture myself by reading this run. So when Ultimate Spider-Man got revealed, everyone was just happy. He was like, "Oh my god, thank goodness!" And yes, so what I like, what I like about this issue is it's different. What I like about it is it's a Peter Parker who's going through. He's essentially going through a midlife crisis. That's the best way I can describe it. In the sense that he's a good person. He he knows about the responsibility. He feels like he's at this point in his life where he feels like something is missing and he just cannot figure out what it is. Like he just can't. And he and I think that's interesting. That's a very interesting arc for Mr. Peter Parker because he doesn't yeah. And basically because basically what Tony Stark in this universe is trying to do, he's trying to essentially he's trying to create all the heroes again in this particular universe. So he tells Peter that you were supposed to get bit by this spider, you're supposed to be Spider-Man, all this other stuff, but I'm not but it's up to you. Like you have the choice to do this or not. And he even has talks with Uncle Ben. He has talks with Mary Jane, and he says like, like especially with Mary Jane, him and Mary Jane have some like really great moments in this book, and it's just it's chef's kiss, like chef's kiss. Like the book shows you why people are really honestly like diehard Peter MJ fans. Like it's not just because like oh we dislike any of the other people that Peter's been with. It's just there's Mary Jane and Peter just get each other on a way that no other person in his life really gets outside of maybe Aunt May. But
Mhm.
again, she's dead, so it doesn't really matter. Um, so he decides to get bit by the spider. Like he lets the spider bite him, and the comic ends with Peter like on this sky. You probably seen it. It's like it's a black
Yeah, it's a black
silhouette.
suit, or not
Yeah,
suit, with a black silhouette. Yeah.
it's a black suit. I'm gonna try
Okay.
to I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I think I can do that.
I
So
am on Comics Explain. Maybe they'll have a
this is what
picture.
so this is what it looks like this right here. Like imagine just like this right here was great. This was great right here. Imagine like you just building up all this
I like
anticipation. and then this is the final like shot. You know how hype people was. You know how hype I was when I found because I actually been seeing it. I saw this
Mhm.
like I'm about to mute the thing again. My call camera because I didn't get the issue. I didn't get the issue the day it came out. I called. You remember Bedrock City, that comic place that's about that CC's and stuff?
Say that again. Bedrock City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What they do?
yeah. I called them. I asked if they had the issue, and there's like, yeah, we do. And I went
Oh,
up
okay.
there, and they held it for me, and I got it, and I read it, and I loved it. Um, people have just been very, very hyped for this, and the ultimate goal, yes, pun intended, is to hopefully make the Marvel editorial realize that we like Peter as a grown adult, a grown ass man. Um, we're kind of tired of seeing, and this kind of this hurts me to say, but even I've gotten tired of it. We're kind of tired of seeing Peter in this stagnant state of just high school, college, high school, college, high school, college, and no growth in between that. Um, that's part of the reason why I think a
They're
lot of
playing it
people do.
safe.
I Yeah, that's well. It's not even just that. Gaz,
Yeah, because
God,
they're
Godzilla,
losing. You know.
Godzilla Mendoza. He's a famous Spider-Man YouTuber. He pointed this out, and once he pointed this out, it kind of makes sense why they're like this. So when the current Marvel editors, right, when they were growing up, when they were around our age and stuff, Peter was in college. Peter was doing a lot of stuff. Like he was in college. Gwen Stacy died, etc. So they are able to relate to that a lot more than a Spider-Man being married, a Spider-Man having kids and stuff like that. So that's why the current Marvel editors always keep him like that. It's a sense of security for them. It's a sense of, I guess you could say, nostalgia. But for me, I didn't grow up with a I grew up with a Spider-Man. Well, a Spider-Man that's in college too, but he also has matured, gotten married, um, potentially could have kids. Like that's the Spider-Man that I like, and I'm not just talking about adaptations where with the '90s. I'm just talking about the books in general. Like that's kind of what
Mhm.
was somewhat going on at that time. um like he was married, Mary Jane and Peter, even though they had, well, for one, I think that's great that the editors finally just made them just like married, no bullshit. Because so context, when Peter and Spider-Man, I was about to say when Peter and Spider-Man got married, like what I mean, I guess he'd be marrying himself, I guess. But so when Peter and Mary Jane got married in, I think, the '70s, that was like a publicity stunt. Like it was a publicity stunt to try to boost in ratings. But it kind of and it basically brought in ratings, but it backfired on them essentially because because well, that's what people want. People always wanted a Spider-Man and Mary Jane to be together, well, together. And over the years, the writers didn't really. So this isn't just the Spider-Man issue. This is more of a superhero issue. People, the writers and editors at these companies, they don't really like seeing a superhero be tied down with one girlfriend, one wife, etc., because they think that'll make the superhero boring. That's why, if you remember, I think it was Tom King's run of Batman, where Batman and Selena are about to get married, and then there's that last issue where they don't either, not either of them show up to like the wedding. Like it was dumb. It was really fucking dumb. Like, or you have them retconning things like Damien, like the way in which Damien got conceived.
Mhm.
Originally, him and Talia both decided to have a kid. They both laid down with each other, but in the New 52 and all that extra stuff, Oh no, you just ranked me on. It's no big deal.
Terrible
So
writing.
yeah. So the only character that I feel like, well, heck, even Superman has suffered from this. He's probably the only character I think that can kind of somewhat make it through the cracks though. Like you can't really see Superman without Lois Lane. They tried to do that in the New 52 where Superman was a Wonder Woman. It just didn't work. So
Superman and Wonder Woman.
that stuff was trash, dude. That stuff was so garbage. But yes, so I really like Peter and Mary Jane's dynamic in this book. I'm very excited. Issue 2 actually has some some
So what's the
screenshots
title of this book
already.
in full?
What'd you say?
Ultimate Spider-Man, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
making sure.
you would type
Okay,
in.
so this is a just to remind me, what universe is this in?
Apparently this is in 16. This is in 6110.
6110, 6,110,
Yes, apparently.
6110. Six that's what the why you say like the
Cause I
6,110?
Cause I couldn't like I was trying to make the transition, but like I couldn't like it was sounding different in my head. So that's why I just said it like that. Apparently,
uh,
I don't the thing with the numbers and stuff that is just you can take those with a not a grain of salt, but don't take those too seriously because all those is are just like people on the little Marvel wiki and stuff just having their little head canon and stuff and making the numbers like that. So it
oh,
doesn't.
so it's not written in the pages.
Yeah, it's not gonna say, it doesn't say like Earth 66110 or some shit like that.
So so this is just a reboot of Ultimate Spider-Man
Essentially, yes. Essentially, yes.
because there's
Um,
spectacular, there's Ultimate, amazing. There's different like uh titles of Spider-Man that have different like beginnings. So this Ultimate is a late stage Spider-Man.
yes, a midlife crisis Spider. It kind of reminds me a little bit of this book that Spider-Man fans also like. Well, it's a meme now, but it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man Reign, and that is the famous book where Peter kills Mary Jane with his radioactive
Radioactive
wink
goo.
to say. It kind of reminds me of that, but just a way better version in the sense that it's a middle aged or in that case elderly Spider-Man, but he's coming out of retirement.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So issue 2 drops on the 21st of February. So what I recommend people buy this book? Yes, 100%. Very good book, very starter. Honestly, it's it is probably the best um the best modern Spider-Man ish book opening that I've ever seen. My personal opinion. Um, yeah, so I would highly recommend, even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, even if you're not a comic fan, you've just been hearing just good things about it. Just pick it up, give it a chance. You might like it. It's the first issue, so I mean, there's kind of no excuse because you're not bogged down by continuity or anything like that.
New story.
And also, they're actually, they're actually just bringing the Ultimate Universe back because when I finished reading the book, I saw that they're coming out with an Ultimate Black Panther and an Ultimate X-Men. So
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
very, yeah. So I think they're essentially trying to they're essentially trying to bring back the Ultimate Universe, just in a different, more mature, not. Well, I don't know about mature, but just in a more middle aged way for middle aged or younger readers such as myself. So yeah. that's happening. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be surprised by the time because if this comes out and if I would, it'll. I'm pretty sure this book will be done. It will be done in like I don't know if I don't know if it will go past 4 issues, but let's just say it doesn't. It'll be done in like April probably, and then yeah, it'll be done in April, and I wouldn't be surprised by the time that gets done. Like Ultimate Daredevil gets revealed, or maybe Ultimate Hulk, maybe even Ultimate Fantastic Four. That'll be kind of interesting, seeing how the maker is Reed Richards, and yeah, but we'll see how that. We'll have to see how that plays out. So yes, that was pretty much my review. First thoughts on Ultimate Spider. Well, not my first thoughts, but I've read the book at least twice, so that's my overall thoughts. Look, I would highly recommend. I mean, even if you buy it online, like that's something because we can definitely show the Marvel editorial like this is we would prefer if y'all tried to make 616 like this. You know, Aunt May's no longer in the picture. He's married. He's having kids. If
Right?
you could
We
make
don't
us,
need to be reminded, or he like just a news perspective that doesn't constantly talk about what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. Like I don't care about Ben because Ben's been written a lot of times. Ame's been written a lot of times. Just put him in a different point, kind of like with Superman and Lois. I have never seen, and I'm pretty sure there's obviously just comics, but I have never seen Superman live action already have a family with two teenagers. I have never seen that, and that show is great. A family Superman, balancing saving the world and teaching his kids how to live or not live, how to grow up and whatnot. Being like the coach at a football game, teaching how sons how to play this or with his other son, learning how to manage his powers. Like I've never seen that type of Superman. It's great. We didn't have to look at all the reporting side of Superman and how he has to like go out a window or go up a elevator just to change. Like, there's a new perspective and it worked. So hopefully, this is gonna, be like that, where they put Spider-Man in a different spot, and they don't constantly reference the stuff from the past because we've heard it already. So when's the next issue coming out? Like next year or something? Low, low, low. Uh oh. Uh oh. Something going on with me? Oh, okay. The man has left the building. 3330. Hope he's back.
hello, Dorian.
There you are.
Okay, so the next issue of this comes out February 21st. February 31st. So yeah. But
Man, they got
speaking
a
of,
team riding real quick on this.
yeah, well, speaking of Superman, did you see that? Well, it's not. I don't know if yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fake. But did you see it? Did you see an edit of the new Superman actor in a Superman suit?
No.
It was pretty good, man. He looks like a. I will say I do now that he's in the suit and they have his little hair with the little curl and stuff. I definitely see what people mean when they say he looks like a younger Henry Cavill. I can see it now.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it on someone's thumbnail. I mean, it
Yeah,
was low quality and it kind of looked fake as fuck. But
yeah. I think it is.
yeah, I
I
saw
think
it.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. It looks like his head was stitched onto Henry's body. Just didn't look right. But yeah, I saw a picture like that.
Very, 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 very excited for that movie. Did you see Christ? Did you see that Crisis movie?
Dude, the last time I saw the new animated
The Horrorverse.
DC movies was Superman of Tomorrow or something of Tomorrow.
Oh
That's
man,
the
it's
last I saw. Man of Tomorrow, yeah. I don't even follow that like I used
that,
to follow with
that
the new 52
that's
movies.
probably the best movie in that thing. So because they're actually getting ready to reboot that again, so you're not missing too much. But the
I just
next,
rather wait for the new.
but
I just rather wait for the reboot. Like if because if
but
I
part
haven't,
but this one, but the
yeah.
next one that's about to drop is gonna have Terry in it. So you know,
Oh, Batman Beyond. But I feel like that was a short ass run. When was Man of Tomorrow?
26, 20. It, it
I want to
I
say
don't know.
2016 because that shit was recent as
I'm
fuck.
I'm gonna look it up.
Man of
I'm gonna
Tomorrow was
look it up.
2020. It's only been 4 years.
Yeah,
That is a short run of this, continuity of heroes.
I think that's just because, quite frankly, and this is just me
And they're already
as
getting the
somebody.
multiverse shit. Like, oh my god,
Yeah,
really?
I think quite frankly, what and this is just me. The DC moving forward, they just need to go back to what they originally was doing. No connected universe. All you need to do is just have these movies be standalone movies that take that adapt faithful comic book beloved stories that the fans like, and different animation styles, art styles, etc. And it will sell. It will literally sell because people quite frankly are getting kind of tired of all these connected shared universe stuff. And when DC didn't, it's why that new 52 stuff just didn't do good. Because it was like, well, we appreciate how all this stuff is connected, yes, but it's like, what's the point? Like when y'all other stuff like how like the old universe, well, even though it wasn't an old universe, but the fact that it could go from like Superman Doomsday and then so like Superman versus the Elite, and then Under the Red Hood. The fact that it can do some stuff like that, like is like, and all of them are good. All of them are good. All of them are all of them are good. All of them are faithful. They might change a couple of things, but for the most part, they're faithful. They're standalone. Like yes, they technically are in the same universe. Yes, but it's not like the Me 52 where I have to watch Throne of Atlantis in order to get uh I don't know, Wonder Woman blood bonds or some shit like that. Like I shouldn't have like it's not like that. So yes, if I was DC moving forward, if Warner Brothers truthfully is going bankrupt, I would 100% I would 100% do it like that. Go back to doing the standalone movies and they'll be okay. Literally.
I agree. Well, I also want to say stop doing multiverses.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Cause like,
Yeah, like if you're gonna connect, I guess, characters, don't throw them in a different alternate universe. 'Cause that is such a to me, that's like a cop out. It is so easy to do. Just throw an alternate version of that character and have them fight it out. Like, no, no. Stay in the same universe and just throw people from different planets at a character. That's just easier to do. Or not easier. It's the smartest choice because sometimes that can be kind of hard trying to create new characters without wanting to fucking just make an alternative version. 'Cause that's so easy.
yeah,
Just just change the aspects and the personalities of your current character, and that's your alternate. Whatever. That's easy. It's more rewarding to continuously make brand new characters. So I would agree to just doing solo movies based around uh great comic issues of that character. And if you ever want to connect, don't make the end goal into some crisis event.
Please and thank you.
Right?
But
Easy.
I do. So I might. So just to let the people know, Suicide Squad, because Justice League drops this week. So I will be
Are
back
you
Saturday.
cut? Are you playing that game?
I'm not. I. What do you mean?
This Kill the Justice League.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh
pre-ordered it
my
already.
god.
I've been pre-ordered.
Oh my god. What makes that game more appealing than uh let's say the last two
Gotham Knights and Avengers.
yeah, what makes
Have you
that
been look?
what makes Suicide Squad more
Have you been
compelling than the other two?
have you been looking at stuff about that game, like the battle pass and everything?
I've the only thing I
The
know,
battle pass is the
yeah.
battle pass is very similar to Halo Infinite's battle pass.
Oh, that's gross.
Well, no, that's a good thing because let's say a season ends and you didn't get a particular skin, you can always
Well,
go
yeah,
back and
that's
do it
I was
later.
gonna mention that. I was gonna mention that you can switch back
And then
to the old
and
battle pass to
then
rank it up.
you can change time of day. There's HUD customization. I would, if I was you, I would look into this. Like I really look into it. I'm not saying you got to get the
It's
game or
crossplay.
anything. I believe so.
That should be a standard.
I'm pretty sure it's crossplay. I'm not too sure. But yeah,
Well,
and then plus, it's unfortunately, I would rather this have been standalone, but unfortunately, it's part of the Arkhamverse. So I have to continue the tradition.
I've been playing Arkham Knight
Mm.
recently. I think I just finished like the first phase of the Riddler missions 'cause I don't see him on my map anymore. I got to go back to Arkham Knight and then finding Barbara. But those puzzles, that was interesting. Like the first few puzzles where you had to like use the Batmobile and fucking play uh race against the time. That was interesting.
I've been trying to tell you. I've been telling you for years that mug not bad. I've been trying to tell you that for years.
Yeah, so far I'm just
T-
slow to learn because I don't know what the fuck I'm
tedious,
doing.
tedious, yes, but not bad.
Yeah, when Selena came in, I'm like, oh my god, I like that
Wait,
Selena
you already
model.
beat it? You already beat the game?
No, I'm playing it right now. I beat City and Asylum. I just have not touched Arkham Knight. No, I'm playing through it now,
Well, I'm
slowly.
happy. Well, I'm happy that you only get to experience greatness.
Yeah,
But
I
all
feel like
right,
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it.
that's all that matters. Trial and error. But all right,
Yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. Man.
yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
pre- appreciate you, boy. Coming out here helping me.
Twinkle the D.
But I'll see y'all boys next Saturday for the Suicide Squad review. Peace.